computers or whatever, but oh, there's Mary. Hi, Mary. Oh, Mary's in. Well, I'm going to go ahead and record this anyway, so I might as well start in, but I'd like to see a few more field staff people. Oh, there's Teresa. So we're getting a few more. Oh, Teresa looks like she's able to communicate. Can you hear me okay, Teresa? See if we get anybody else. Wait a couple more minutes for field staff. What I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and talk about how I initially set this up, just so you can see how it's updated and stuff, rather than getting into how to use the tool right away. This data came right out of the Access database, and it was linked to the latitude and longitude, and then also to the CAMA data to have the other things. The field staff's been entering like the neighborhood code and other stuff like that that's already part of the data set. So there's no reason to enter a lot of that. And so when you look at on the table down here, you'll notice a lot of these are from the export we get from ProVal. And then at some point with issue date, permit number, that's when we start to have what's data entered by field staff. Hopefully some of this, we can continue to enter it just like we do right now into Access, and I can pull it out of there. Or hopefully we can pump some of this stuff in that we get from data from the permitting jurisdictions. We'll just see how that works. But when you're in the, when we're in the, looking at the table itself, and I get this pop-up thing that keeps coming down. So this is the basic map, this permit output tool. This is the basic database where everything's attached to, and any maps that are made from this or the others that are related to it will connect that and save the information and notes to this area. So you can see where it says update data. Okay, it says append data to layer. So all I have to do is have a spreadsheet that contains the same column headings and information each month, and then I can just append this. So what it will do is it won't overwrite the stuff that's existing, all your notes and all that stuff. Photos can stay with it, but it gives you the opportunity to be able to just add the new stuff in. So what we'll look at it as is there's a Access could still be used for that tool to input things. We could also pump data in. So it's a nice tool. Regardless, whatever happens, we don't know with Beacon. I'm going to be working with them to see what their permit tools like. The county went ahead and purchased their permit management tool. Unfortunately, it's only for the county building commission to use. So all of the other jurisdictions won't be using it or putting their permits in there. We do get permit data from the city because they're using seamless docs, and I can map that stuff too. But the situation we've got is that we don't know what the Beacon system is going to look like. I can export all this information right over to Beacon. I don't know if it'll have the same capabilities. We'll have to explore both to know which is the best. And also working in this will be good experience. So if we do end up using Beacon for all the management, it's a very similar tool to Collector, and the way that the data is added to the map and all that stuff is almost the same. So it's not going to hurt to get in and start using it. At least then we'll take a look at what Beacon looks like and have an idea of which one's going to be better to use. I don't know. I pushed to try to get Beacon permits for a long time, and then as soon as we had a solution here with Hub, then all of a sudden Beacon, now the commissioner's signing a deal with Beacon to do the permit. So we'll see what it looks like and how long it takes them to get set up. It could be 6 months or something before they're active with that. But I'll be working with them this month on it and trying to see what our side's going to look like. Although I kind of feel like it's more designed for the permit, the building inspector side. But anyway, so we can do that. I can export all the data. We can import, just append it, which means just adding other, new lines to it, and not taking over. But anyway, so here's this the management tool we made is over here, and I tried to make this easy as I could. You can see right now at the bottom how it says 14 features. When it launches, it automatically brings up the spreadsheet. So this is the spreadsheet. If you like working in spreadsheets, you can move this up, and you can search in here. I know that they print the property record cards from the LSRN number, and that is over here. Don't let these commas bother you when you export it. Oh, we got some people trying to get in. Okay, there we go. There's some more people. Didn't get too far. I just got another one. Okay, just letting some more people in. I didn't get very far. I just was looking at the talking about the map and how that map can be updated. So I'll go cover that again. This is the base data map. So this was what was taken out of Access. Was linked to the latitude and longitude, and then also linked to, I decided to go with latitude and longitude only because that makes it so anyone can update this map. You don't have to have any special software. You can, anyone can append, like I said, with update data, or it gives you the opportunity to append the layer. It doesn't overwrite anything. It just adds new fields. It just adds new data to it. But a small list of 100 or 500 or so could be added by anybody who had that formatting and information. You don't need any special software for it. You can just do it through here, as long as the spreadsheet looks the same as the data that's in it. So I jumped over to this tool here, and again, when you open it, and I'll show you where it's at on the list. It's just this one that is called. Let's see. Yeah, it's this one here too, is Field Review Management Tool. So hopefully you'll have access to that and you can see it. And then the other one we're going to be talking about, I sent you the links to it, but we've got the one that says permits needing completion is what that one's called. And then everything comes from this permit tool output. This is the main table that feeds all the other derivative maps and applications. So when you open the application, this will come up. You'll have your spreadsheet below it. Again, here's your LSRN. Like I said, don't worry about the commas. They go away when you export it. So what this will allow you to do is, rather than, I know now in the permit database, it looks like they're going in, checking a box and putting a date for printing. But with this, what you can do is you can just take a section wherever you're at, and then go ahead and you can export that information. So it'll populate this area with whatever we select. Right now it's set to do whatever's on the screen, and that makes it a little slow. I might take that feature off and just have all the permits listed in here, just so things are a little bit faster. but you can see the options here are pretty easy to use. You can add filters to this information. So if you were looking at the whole map, you could filter it down to, just a certain township or just a certain neighborhood, or it contains the word deck or something. If you just want to look at decks, there's a lot of ways to do that. But and you can also hide or show columns. So if this is too much stuff for you and there's only certain things you want to see, this is all fully customizable. You'd be able to go in and using this, check on the fields you want to see and you don't want to see. You can move them around. So if you want this to be, over here, I just go ahead and move it over there. Just like you're working in Excel or working in Access. And like I said, it's real easy here to do the export. So I want to export this to CSV, which will just open in Excel. So if you want to get those LRSN numbers to print out, you just export the data. It comes right out. Looks like this when it opens. And this is just the area, whatever I filtered it to or whatever I selected on the map. Just expand that out and see how that LRSN looks normal. So you could take that information, but rather than having to go into the database and check in, I'm going to look at this one on this date and print it at this time or whatever, you could just select it from the map. And so what like I said, what's showing up here now is all the permits that are showing on my screen. But if I want to be more, more specific, I'm going to get rid of this for a minute. You can take a section of something, I also have some filters up here that I've made. But let me talk first about the select tool. So the select tool, if I want to select a group of permits, I use the select tool. It's right here. And this gives you different ways to select by. This is selecting by a circle. So let's say I was going to take everything in this circle and go try to see it today. Now the information is here. So the 34 I selected. And you can, again, export just those to the CSV. There's some other statistic stuff that were great for the sales tool, but not necessarily anything we need here. But anyhow, that's there for you. I click on the number of 34, it shows me all the ones individually. And we could change these if it doesn't work for you. The way this is set up, I just have key number and I have, what the permit is. I thought that, and the address I think comes up later on, but that gives you the address and what the permit is. I figure that's the first thing you want to see when you're coming out to a place, but that can be changed. That doesn't work for somebody, but anyway, we can go to each of these individual ones, whatever. So if I'm going to see those that day, then I've got that list all set. This search, you can search by address and or key number with the dots and dashes. I think it may pick up the other one too, but I've been just using dots and dashes because I think that's what you copy and paste out of ProVal if you're trying to look for a specific key number. And so that's that. This application, you may or may not use it. You could do a lot of this stuff directly from the map. I think for exporting data, it's really good. And I think for adding information, like, I don't know, we want to try to pump in the stuff programmatically, either out of Access or from the databases we get from the jurisdictions. So it try to eliminate some of that initial data entry stuff. But once it's here in the map, then all that field management would be just done from here. And of course, you still got to go back and enter into ProVal and stuff, but you don't have to go back and check off date, completed date or any of that stuff in Access. It's going to be shown completed on the map, and once you check that completed box, it'll disappear from the map. So it's only going to show those things that are here, that are out there needing field review or whatever. So we probably will do some data entry still into Access, and then continue to export it in this way as far as like the input side. So just think of Access as the mouth of it, and then we'll put it in here for to close it out. Some of the other tools I've gotten here are, I show you the select tool for editing these items. So I had to click on one of these. It's pretty easy. Right now I just have a link to Beacon and some basic information here, but down here on these three dots, this is where you can do some other things. So here you're going to go to Smart Editor. Smart Editor will give you all the fields that are in the table, and it looks just like it does in Access. So you can go in, here's these date pickers, and see all the information from the building permit data. We unfortunately doesn't allow me to do check boxes, so we just need to do field visit. 1 is yes and 0 is no. But if I wanted to complete this, I could just put in the date. I could put in notes, whatever the things that you normally would do in the field, next visit, so on and so forth. This also allows you the ability to be able to choose a file. So I could, if I wanted to attach a scanned PDF of a sketch or something like that to it, you can do that. You can also add to these files and pictures and documents and videos and voice memos and all that stuff from the collector app, and it just adds it straight to this map in real time. So this is the Smart Editor page, and then anyway, let's see. I have a couple other things. There's some other tools up here. If I wanted to add a point, let's say we didn't. I was talking about entering it with raw data, but let's say I was like in the field and I saw what looked like a construction project I didn't have a permit in that I wanted to go check out, or let's say that Chris is in appeals and he wants to add something to this map and it's just a one-time go. He doesn't want to data enter anything or whatever. You could use that same idea. We would use this tool here. This is this Smart Editor again. And what you do with that is it's gonna let's cancel this. When I go to a new session, see this permit tool. So this is allow me to create a new one. So anywhere I click, I can just go, okay, I want someone to look at this parcel. Now I need a parcel ID, and it's not smart enough to pull that in yet. The information is contained in here, so you can pull it off the parcel layer. But he would just put in what he wants done, what he wants to see. Even if he didn't put a key number in, it maps it right to that point, which makes that pretty convenient when you have, I don't know, new construction going on and the split isn't done yet. We know the houses are there. You can just add them independent of the key number at first, and you know it's something you got to go and check, and you can check up on later, and add that key number information or whatever later. But if it hasn't been assigned to a new neighborhood, or we don't know who owns it or whatever, you can just flag something and say, hey, this needs to be viewed. But while you're and it'll come up on this map, even if I left it mostly blank. But you can put in your notes and you can say, it says who it was requested by. Chris could say, hey, I need this, blah, blah, blah. And then it'll just come up on the map for the next person who needs to go to that part of the field. Now, what's nice about it, if they go out and shoot some video or something, Chris can share that with Tippecanoe. So that field information is really able to be transmitted pretty well. But anyway, Smart Editor, that's how you would add a, just a one at a time request. We just come up with these building permits. The other tools up here, if you don't like this, I put this black background on here just because it helps to highlight what's going on. But if you want to see the aerial image, all your base maps are here, so you can use any of these, whatever coloring book style old maps. Just simple street maps, or the 2020 image is right up here, so you'll be able to add that in. If I just go ahead and select that, it'll come up. You can just click on it, and there it is. I find it's a little easier to read and a little bit I don't know, it takes less time to load if I just use like a black background or something along those lines. So that's why I set it up like that originally, but you can change that. I've also got this tool. This is just a quick infographic where, if you're looking at or you're selecting an area, it'll come up here to give you an idea what the, workload's like. We got a bunch of interior remodels. It's probably not a big deal. A couple new single family homes out there, right? And so, and you notice as I mouse over these, they light up the different kinds. So I can see that, where those are at on the map and identify them. We could also use some filters. So if there are filters you'd like to see, let me know. I can add as many of these as you want. But in this case, if I wanted to just filter, a specific township or something, I can go in here and select the townships that I want to see. Randolph, Perry, and I don't know, Sheffield. Let's see what that does. Now, after I selected them, I need to turn it on. So that being green and switched over to the right, that tells us that that's turned on. And now you can see these Wabash and Fairfield Township stuff disappeared, And what we've got is, I have to fish around for the Perry Sheffield, but there you can see where they start to populate. So I'm just going out to there here this day, and I want to print out the record cards for all those. And so I can just go in and, it should give me the data. Once I select them, it'll give me that data. So they're just showing you they're filtered on the map, but I'd still need to select it to get it to appear down here. Oh, there we go. So this is just showing what's on the screen again. But at any rate, you can do that. And if you want to use a flag for what needs to be printed and what doesn't, you can do that. All you have to do is go into the database, and in any one of these fields, if you just click on them, you can edit it. So if you want to just give you something to filter by, you can do that. But you can just go ahead and if you double click in any of these fields, they become editable, especially in the other map. Any rate, let's see. I'll show you the other filters. This is just another location batch attribute. This is if we wanted to update a lot of them at once. It works just like the smart editor. It's basically a smart editor. There are simple driving directions in this app. I don't know how much you use them, but if you ever needed to, print out something, show where you've been, this will do it, and it'll start from. If I click on here and I want to start that permit, okay, or I start the county building, whatever it is, then as I go and I click, it should just go ahead and add these locations. These are the stuff I want to see, and it gives you the directions. You go to the deck. Unable to route them. Because they give me a starting point. But it's really easy. It's actually easier to get the directions, one property at a time in Collector. But this is just something that, somebody can see how long should it take to get out there, and it'll give you that information. This is just a layer list, so it tells you what layers are out there. I put this parcel zoning layer just to get the parcel number and information from it. It doesn't come as a pop-up in here, but you can change that or add other things to it. So this is just one of the ways to view it. I think probably most of you will work hopefully in your own maps that are based off of the main one. So this map, this is this permits needing completion. This is the map that feeds that application. So this application just, we can add these different tools and things, but this information is also on the, it just comes from the map. So if I were to want to customize this map, change the base, whatever it is, it won't make any changes to the application because I'm going to have to save it as something else. So maybe I save this as Phyllis's map, and field reviews, and it's filtered for the things that Phyllis is dealing with, or Phyllis is staying in the office and just doing data entry. Maybe she's just following behind Tom or something and helping out with, putting in the things he's seen, because if he attached a file or a picture or made some comments or notes, they would come up and you can filter this, to the things that have been field reviewed in the last 24 hours. So the way the filters and stuff work on the map is out here. You got these different tools. You have the database tool for one. So if I want to see the database, this is all the permits. Okay. Now I can, in here, there are some tools up here that will allow me to also add filters. So if I wanted to add a filter, let's say, just as an example, I want to do there's a filter already on there. So I want to edit. This one, you can see it's just ones that were completed as blank, okay? But I want to add another expression, so I would just add another filter. I could say, I don't know, townships, let's see, whatever we want. Out of this list, let's see, or the ones that need sketches, whatnot, certain neighborhood, okay? I can ask for the value of the filter, I don't know, but what we'll do here is I'm just going to say that it's, I don't know, at most is between. So it's viewing neighborhood as a number. So you can set up any of those. Let's say is between, I don't know the neighborhood numbers anymore, but I'll just give a little range here. And nothing I do here is going to change the basic map. I have to save these changes, but once I save them, they're done. So there's 77 that were in those neighborhoods that I listed, and here's the data on those. But you can add filters to this however you like. See how my dots disappeared because it's only, you know, those neighborhoods that I selected. You can change the icons. The way we do that is in here. So for your own view. And by doing that, like I said, it doesn't change this map at all. You're not going to hurt anything, but all the data will flow through. So if I'm in my own map world here and I wanted to, you know, go to change the parcel color, I could do that. I just go into options, symbols, and I could change it to whatever I want. You could update, so you could basically customize the map that you use when you go into the field. And you just save it as your own map. It'll be available. Should be available in Collector. Aaron's got pretty good idea of how to use Collector. But even in this, and just in the bare map, I can go in and make changes. What you do is I click on the permit, and then see down here where it says Edit. Just click on Edit, and then that gives me the information that I need. I don't have my. Only got a few more minutes in here. So we can see who was assigned to. We can see, you know, whatever attachments might be on there. So if I want to go out in the field and use Collector, I take a bunch of pictures, I make a bunch of voice notes, memos, whatever. I would come back, I would see them here, and then I could just take those and save them to Beacon or whatever I had to do for my data entry. Would have all that notes just attached to it, and see what, you know, show what we've seen for the day. But those would all be down there. Yeah, so close that out. But again, like this map, if I were to make changes to the design of it, or filters, or even add layers, you know, let's say I'm working in Lafayette, and I want to see those building permits. I could just go in here and add some of the layers. So let's search for different layers, or I want to add a traffic layer or something like that. If you haven't played designing the maps we've been talking about for some time, hopefully you can, you know, get some experience doing that. If you don't have some of these tools or whatever, let me know. I think I have everybody as publishers. But like adding a layer to this, if I want to add something for my own, you know, personal use, there might be traffic layers. I think I've got a Lafayette building permit. So I've got a building Lafayette permits internal. So I add that to my map. And nothing can see, there it is, Lafayette building permits. I'd have to go in and say, okay, show location, you know, options. Let's make it a, guess it's a polygon one. Take a minute for those to populate, but whatever layers or whatever changes you want to make, you can, and you can just add things to this map. Now, the other application tool is easier to, like, you know, I'd recommend for somebody like Chris, who's going to be adding data like that. Say, hey, I need somebody to field review this real quick. That application is probably better than the raw map. Raw map's really more of a work area. And you can update your statuses here. If you're not using Collector in the field, you can come back and, you know, click on the permits that you saw, edit it, you know, say that you went there, close it out, whatever. All that's fine. If you haven't used Collector, it's great. It's a really nice way to edit from the field. Eric's, I don't know if he's got the tablets yet or not, but he's supposed to. Oh, I see the Lafayette building permit one. When you see this come up, this is that layer I put in for the Lafayette stuff. Now the permit tracking is here. Don't get confused. This permit, what I've got for Lafayette permit, I was just able to pull in their data. It's got a timed scale on the bottom of it, so that's why it's not showing anything. I have to show all the permits from all time, and then that's these Lafayette building permits. what's nice about this is I've got links to this might be something good for people who are doing a lot of sketching. Because this will show, it'll show like the links to uh, that map in itself shows links to to their to their uploaded sketches or their what do they call it, their yeah, like the blueprints and stuff. So those are attached right into this map. Um, all over the place. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's showing every location. I got to filter it for. That's why it's taking so long. When I put my filter on, I just put the location only. But what we need to do is we would need to do like uh, something that tells us that it's got some data attached to it. Um, let's try something like that. So I've just changed this map around. But anyway, is it any map that you make now? If you've already made some permanent maps, great. I'm glad you got the experience. The first thing that I set up was based on the polygon shapes. They're based on the parcel layer, where this new one is set up based on the latitude and longitude. So with latitude and longitude, that's I this is a new map set. So whatever you did before, just recreate them with with whatever customization that you want, that you think is necessary, and then you should be able to take this permit tool off of here. You should be able to uh, use those in the field in the collector. Sometimes it's nice if you you work only in these certain townships, you just set yourself up a map and that's all you see is the townships that you need to take care of. Um, and of course, with all this social distancing stuff still, in effect and all that, if you're out in the field working, this is policy stuff with your office, but I mean, you can do all this data entry in the field. It prevents you, maybe at the end of the day, you just, drop off the car and go home or whatever. You don't have to go back in and update all that stuff. It's sitting there waiting for you the next day, or maybe somebody is in the field helping you data enter the stuff as it comes in. And they can access whatever it is you're seeing. But anyway, we'll probably run out of time on it. I just wanted to give an introduction on here. I'm going to come in next week, and if anybody wants to have me sit with them and talk to them about these maps more, I can do that. Try to get in, the tools that I think would be useful. I used to do a lot of field work, and I would have loved to have had something like this. So hopefully we can embrace it and start, going out and collecting information on some tablets and things like that, and keeping it more map based. Because I think it's just a lot easier. You can see what it is that you're going out to look at, where it's at, select those, just have that data, whatever, export the data for them if you need to print the record cards, whatever it is you need to do. But if there's anybody has any input into this or wants to, say, can you do this or that? Don't be afraid to ask me. I'd be glad to add it on there if it's something I can do. And I can help anybody individually next week, but I wanted to give you just a rundown. Any questions or anything? I know some of you don't have microphones, and so that might be tough, but I've only got about 2.5 minutes left with this many participants. So I just want to see if anybody has anything. I guess you can just message me. You can just message me later or something, or if you wanted to, if there's a chat. I don't know if there's a chat. Is there anything going on in the chat? I don't remember how this thing works. I don't think there's anybody do anything in the chat. So anyway, that's pretty much all I got for you on this basic rollout of this. Like I said, this month, just hold off on entering, new permits as they come in. Just make sure I have a copy of them. I want to see what they look like. If they're sending them as a PDF and we can't get data, we're going to have to key those in. We'll just key them into Access like we normally do. And if there is if we're getting it from as a raw data set and it's easier to upload it that way, maybe we'll do it that way. But as of right now, we can still just enter it like you always did. But except for, you won't have to close it out you'd close it out on the map rather than closing it out um, in the in the access database. So we'll know that those are closed. But any questions or anything like that? I don't see anything in chats or whatever. So I'm gonna get off of here, and you guys feel free to email me or call me if you want to talk about this individually. I can run you through things, or I can come in next week and sit down and with anybody if they need some more individual instruction on it or any of the other tools. Okay, so you guys have a good day, and I'm gonna go ahead and close this out.